Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications. And now, let's join ace broadcaster MAMODE AKUGHA as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, MAMODE AKUGHA.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC has described its upcoming Niger Delta Sports Festival as a crucial initiative conceived to promote peace and unity in the region while providing a platform for youths to showcase their athletic and sporting talents. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, made this known last week in Akwa Ibom State while seeking the state government's partnership to host the maiden edition of the festival at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo.
The leadership of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, led by its Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, last week met with the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Governor Umor Eno, at the Government House in Uyo to tidy up modalities for the first ever Niger Delta Sports Festival. Dr. Ogbuku officially sought the partnership of the Akwa Ibom government in hosting the maiden region-wide sporting event, noting that the initiative would strengthen the bonds of unity in the region and harness young sports talent from the region.
The Niger Delta Sports Festival is aimed at building regional integration amongst us in the Niger Delta first, then secondly also to harness young talents in the region who are amateur, who can also grow to be professionals to represent Nigeria at the national level.
The sports festival, which is scheduled to take place between April 1st and April 9th, 2025 at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, is part of activities to mark the 25th anniversary celebrations of the interventionist agency established in 2000. For his part, Governor Umor Eno commended the NDDC for the initiative and approved the state's hosting of the maiden edition of the sports festival. He added that the state government would set up a committee to work hand in hand with the NDDC to ensure that all necessary preparations and arrangements leading up to the big events are seamless.
We set up a working team that will work with NDDC to ensure that this is successful, and we look forward to welcoming the Niger Delta back to Akwa Ibom.
As plans for the sporting event reach the final stages, the chairman of the planning committee and NDDC's executive director of finance and administration, Alabo Boma Iyaye, who was a former commissioner of sports in Rivers State, earlier met with sports commissioners and other representatives from the 9 states in the region, where they deliberated on the details and framework of the Niger Delta Sports Festival.
When you put the youths together, you know that the advantages are enormous. You will not only curb crime in our society, you will go a long way in providing opportunities for these youths to create career opportunities for themselves.
The Niger Delta region, beyond its massive contribution to the national economy, has also brought pride to Nigeria through its exceptional sporting talents who have represented the country on the global stage. Legends like Nigeria's first world boxing champion, Hogan Bassi, the first Nigerian to win an Olympic gold medal, Chioma Ajonwa, and football icons such as Stephen Keshi, Samson Siasia, Taribo West, J.J. Okocha, and Vincent Enyama have cemented their legacies in sports history. Today, young stars like Kamaru Usman, Blessing Okagbare, Ese Brume, and Stanley Nwabali continue to make the Niger Delta proud while flying the Nigerian flag high. The upcoming NDDC Sports Festival aims to be a breeding ground for the next generation of sports icons, furthering the region's legacy of excellence and global recognition in sports. The week-long event will feature competitions in wrestling, athletics, basketball, canoeing, chess, football, handball, para-athletics, Scrabble, swimming, table tennis, volleyball, amongst others.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The Onoje of Igweben in Igweben local government area of Edo State, His Royal Highness Ehizoje Eluejero, alongside some residents of Igwebe town, has appealed to the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) to revisit and complete its abandoned projects in the community for needed development in the area. The monarch made this known while speaking to Inside the Niger Delta recently in Igwebe, Edo State. He also added that the timely completion of these projects will not only improve their standard of living, but will also open the area for the much needed development.
Like many communities in the Niger Delta region, Igwebe community in Igwebe local government area of Edo State is host to several NDDC projects which were initiated but remains uncompleted till date. Some of these abandoned projects includes the Igwebe Girls School Road Phase 2 and the General Hospital Road, which are currently in a deplorable state. The Onoje of Igwebe, His Royal Highness Ehizoje Eluejero, urged the agency to extend its developmental projects to the area, particularly by reviving and completing abandoned projects that could significantly improve the quality of life for residents.
We truly require the presence of NDDC to look at the area of our youth empowerment, roads, water, and even the solar lights. I will hear they distribute solar light to so many communities. So I'm using this opportunity to appeal to NDDC to intervene in some of this area, because as a local government headquarters, we need joint action.
Residents expressed concerns that many of the previously installed solar-powered streetlights in their community were either malfunctioning or not functioning optimally, leaving parts of the town in darkness. They appealed to the NDDC to not only provide additional streetlights, but also ensure the maintenance of existing ones to enhance security and nighttime activities in the community.
All the things NDDC is doing in other areas, we want them to make it happen in this area, Igwebe, so that we applaud them that they are doing work.
We have so many streets in the land of Igwebe now, which is solar is not there. So we are also begging them, at least the one they can do, let them do it for us. We will appreciate them.
In just over a year since the current board and management of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC), led by Mr. Chiedu Ebie and Dr. Samuel Obuku, assumed office, the intervention agency has rekindled hope in many communities by the completion of long-abandoned projects and the initiation of new ones that are already transforming lives in the region. Among the recently completed projects are the Ogbianembe Road in Bayelsa State, the Ibno Bridge in Akwa Ibom State, and the Okitipupa Power Station in Ondo State. Additionally, the Commission has also embarked on new initiatives like the Light Up the Niger Delta scheme, which is making a significant impact, particularly in hard-to-reach areas of the region. Under the renewed Hope initiative of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, the federal government has approved a budget of over 1.911 trillion naira for the NDDC to facilitate the completion of some of its abandoned projects in the region, a move that will assist the intervention agency to complete some of these abandoned projects and bring the needed development to various communities across the region.
Inside the Niger Delta. Ezekiel Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Ezekiel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability, and infrastructure development.
Former Edo State Governor and Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, has criticized what he describes as the seeming cold handling of illegal mining activities in the north by the federal government as compared to the harsh crackdown on oil thieves in the Niger Delta. Oshiomhole accused the government of applying double standards in dealing with economic saboteurs and also alleged that some retired army generals are deeply involved in illegal mining and other criminal activities in northern Nigeria. Speaking during the budget defense session of the Ministry of Solid Minerals, the Edo North Senator called for decisive action to rid the sector of profiteers and ensure adequate funding so it can contribute meaningfully to the national economy.
The Nigerian Constitution, Section 44, subsection 3, placed the sole ownership and control of Nigeria's mineral resources, including solid minerals, crude oil and gas, in the federal government for the common good and benefit of all citizens of the country. This means that no other entity in Nigeria, even subnational government or individuals, has the right to mine these resources except those licensed and permitted by the federal government. While Nigeria is known to have a rich endowment of solid minerals, including iron ore, coal, gold, lead, zinc, and bitumen, amongst others, the country, for obvious reasons, had only been focused on crude oil and gas in the Niger Delta. Even more disturbing is the fact that while illegal actors in the oil and gas sector face harsh penalties and the Niger Delta remains heavily militarized, those involved in illegal mining in the north seem to operate with little to no interference from the same government, allowing them to freely cut away the nation's resources. Like many Niger Deltans, Senator Adams Oshiomhole has expressed frustration over this unfair and biased scenario in the country. He also accused some retired military generals of being behind illegal mining operations and questioned why the government has not cracked down on them as ruthlessly as it does on Niger Deltans involved in oil-related activities.
Whereas the federal government is ruthless with people who are doing illegal oil bucking, and they deploy JTF to deal with those involved in illegal bucking. When it comes to illegal mining of solid mineral, the federal government changes. It's like using different standards. And I'm very angry about that. Because if we have to fight, deploy army, even to kill for anyone who is involved in illegal bucking of oil, and you deploy JTF, the combination of army, police, air force, everybody, why are we allowing illegal mining in many parts of the country that is going on? And they are being manned by retired generals, and we know them.
This raises serious concern about the role of security forces in combating or enabling economic sabotage in Nigeria. Whether in solid minerals or the oil and gas sector in Niger Delta, reports and allegations continue to surface implicating members of the Nigerian military in the very illegal activities they are meant to combat. A notable instance was in 2019 when then-Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, openly accused a high-ranking military officer of involvement in illegal oil dealings. However, to date, there has been no publicly known investigation or prosecution of the suspect, fueling speculation about a systemic cover-up. This apparent lack of accountability suggests a deeper conspiracy within the authorities, raising questions about the commitment of security agencies to tackling the illicit trade that continues to drain the nation's economy. However, some stakeholders have joined Senator Oshiomhole to call on the federal government to decisively deal with illegal miners in the north, as well as empower the solid mineral sector to meaningfully contribute to the national economy.
As Senator, we should fix the problem. We should tell the executive, you must deploy exactly the same force that you deploy against illegal oil that same force should be deployed to deal with criminals who are money. Whoever is involved, they should be there to let Nigeria see that we are not condoning this.
The country is looking for diversification. How do we diversify in Nigeria, in our circumstance, without adequate appropriations for solid minerals? Here is a low-hanging fruit for us. Solid minerals. Why don't we harvest from the abundance of the earth and make this country a very happy country?
The federal government reported that the country lost about $3 billion to this illicit trade between 2012 and 2018. And just recently, human rights lawyer Femi Falana disclosed that approximately $9 billion worth of gold is illegally shipped out of Nigeria every year. This was further confirmed by the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, who stated that Nigerian gold is being smuggled to the United Arab Emirates while calling for a partnership with UAE authorities to curb the illicit trade. There are even instances where these smugglers were caught attempting to transport gold out of the country through the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. It is truly worrisome that this illicit business is thriving while the country continues to suffer and the authorities remain largely unperturbed as far as the black gold of the Niger Delta continues to flow. For the collective interest and prosperity of the country, the solid mineral sector must be properly harnessed to begin to contribute meaningfully to Nigeria's national economy. It will be recalled that the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, in 2019, approved the Presidential Artisanal Gold Mining Development Initiative, PAGMI, to foster the integration of artisanal gold mining into the formal sector. This allowed northern states like Zamfara and many others to mine their gold and sell it to the federal government through the Central Bank of Nigeria, a development that has drawn criticism from proponents of fiscal federalism and resource control. Many argue that while these states benefit from their mineral resources, the oil and gas in the Niger Delta remains exclusively controlled by the federal government, leaving the people of the oil-rich Niger Delta and their subnational government with no equity shares while their livelihoods and environment continue to suffer.
Well, what I'm saying is that we are one Nigeria. That's what they tell us, that we are one Nigeria. So you cannot have two sets of laws that govern two different sets of people. So when it comes to the northerners, they can take resources that God gave to them as their own. Somebody get up, carry his axe, whatever, his bags, and go there and dig up gold. Gold is costlier than oil. And go and sell and take his money. Bring down chopper, take his money and go. Then when it comes to oil, 99% of the oil where in the Niger Delta belong to the same northerners. What kind of country are we in? So what is in my land, going to belong to everybody. But what is in Zamfara belong to people from Zamfara. We must have one set of laws. If we are all going to exploit what is on our land and pay taxes to the center, let us do it. If we are going to take it as our own, let us take it. If we are going to give all to government, let us also do. But don't tell me that the oil in Ogun is government oil. Then the gold in Zamfara is Zamfara people own.
The government must therefore take decisive actions against economic saboteurs across the country, ensuring fairness and accountability. Just as it did with PAGMI, it should also fulfill its earlier resolve of building modular refineries and integrating artisanal crude oil refiners in the Niger Delta into the formal economy, as promised by former Vice President Yemi Osibanjo after his tour of the Niger Delta region back in 2017. This approach will not only curb illegal activities but also create economic opportunities for local communities. Inside the Niger Delta,
Senator Doyediri of Bayelsa State says despite the long-standing agitations of Bayelsans and indeed Niger Deltans, they remain committed to the peace and development of Nigeria. Governor Diri noted that the people of the oil-rich Niger Delta are simply demanding justice, fairness, and equity for the region that has endured the burden of oil exploration and exploitation for decades. The governor made this known last week while hosting participants of the Leadership and Strategic Studies Course 3, 2024 of the Nigerian Army at the Government House in Yenagoa.
The visit to Bayelsa, according to the leader of the team, Major General Abubakar Adamu Tarfa, retired, was because of its strategic role in the country's oil and gas industry, which continues to fuel Nigeria's economy.
Nigeria, as a tendency to fame and wealth, cannot be separated from oil production in the Niger Delta, and therefore the general area needs all protection necessary for the survival of our nation.
Crude oil was first discovered in commercial quantity in Nigeria in 1956 at Otuabagi, Oloibiri in present-day Bayelsa State. While the Oloibiri Oil 1 well is no longer in service, Bayelsa State remains a significant contributor to the nation's economy through its numerous oil and gas fields. Governor Doediri, who hosted the team at the Government House in Yenagoa, said the visit would provide participants with the opportunity to understand the true conditions of life and livelihoods of the people who are supposedly the goose that lays the golden egg.
This whole issue of gas flaring and the attendant effects on Bayelsa State and indeed the Niger Delta region, whatever that was paid from the oil companies were not collected by the people who suffer from the gas flaring. It was collected by the federal government. And these were some of the issues that the leaders of the region raised over the years that was not attended to, that led to the uprising of militancy in our region. And I'm sure that visits like this will give you a first-hand knowledge that these people don't want Nigeria to succeed. No, 1,000 times no. The people are asking for fairness and justice and equity. That's all.
In a different development, the Bayelsa State Governor last week reaffirmed his administration's commitment follow through with the establishment of the AKUGHA Deep Sea Project that was initiated by his predecessor over 8 years ago. He made this known while receiving the report of the comprehensive assessment of the project by the federal government's Joint Steering Committee and Project Delivery Team at the Government House, Yenagoa.
When we reviewed the previous administration, one of the credits we saw that we must run with was the AKUGHA Deep Sea Port. We have done our reviews and we will not relent until we achieve the establishment of AKUGHA Deep Sea Port.
The over $3 billion project is expected to be funded through a public-private partnership that will include the Bayelsa State Government, the federal government, and other private investors. The governor stressed that Bayelsa's strategic location along the Atlantic Ocean makes the development of the AKUGHA Deep Sea Project a gateway to new socio-economic opportunities. He stated that the project would unlock the state's vast marine and blue economy potential for the benefit of its people.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Delta State Governor and Captain of Team More Agenda, Right Honorable Sheriff Obrewori, has called on all political office holders in the state to prioritize direct engagement with communities at the grassroots level. This, according to him, will provide valuable insights into the specific needs and aspirations of Deltans, enabling the government to develop and implement targeted programs that directly address those concerns. Governor Obrewori stated this last week at the Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba, during the swearing-in ceremony of Senator AKUGHA Amori, who was recently appointed as his chief advisor.
The latest addition to the Timor agenda, Senator AKUGHA Amori, is an astute politician and mobilizer who has served in various capacities in Delta State since the return of democracy in 1999, before his brief stint at the National Assembly in 2015. With his appointment as the chief advisor to Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriowori, he is expected to bring to bear his rich experience and political acumen in translating the state government's plans and policies into tangible development across the length and breadth of the state. During his swearing-in ceremony at the Unity Hall in Government House, Asaba last week, the governor used the opportunity to call on all political appointees under his administration to stay connected with the people at the grassroots, aggregate their voices and ensure that their concerns are fully incorporated into the administration's policy trust as encapsulated in the MORE agenda.
All political appointees may take constant interface with their wards and whole government councils. This will enable the people to feel the impact of governance and help the administration to develop need-based programs tailored to address their yearnings and aspirations.
He further stated that all government appointees would henceforth be closely monitored to ensure they contribute effectively to the growth and development of the Big Heart State. Also in Delta State last week, the Governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriowori, received the Swedish ambassador to Nigeria, Annika Han Englon, and her delegation at the Government House in Asaba. Governor Oboriowori, in his address of welcome to the ambassador, noted that the state holds great investment potentials, especially due to its rich, abundant natural resources as well as its peaceful environment, making it an ideal destination for Swedish investors. For her part, the Swedish ambassador acknowledged the long-standing diplomatic ties between Sweden and Nigeria established since the early 1960s. She went on to express her country's interest in expanding trade and investment in key sectors such as agriculture, ICT, energy and health, particularly in states like Delta.
Here we have priorities when it comes to the green and digital transition, and that is also something we can see from the Swedish companies that are present in Nigeria.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's where we draw the curtain on the program for today. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screens. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria. Until next week, I am MAMODE AKUGHA, thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.